let's get to Mike Schur. Mike Schur, is that stat impressive or not impressive that with playing three quarterbacks, I remember the Trey Lance days, that they've only had 26 3-and-outs this season?
Yeah, I guess that's impressive. I mean, you know what's happening here? Those games were so bad, you guys have nothing to talk about. That's what I'm realizing in these 3 minutes of listening to you.
This is our third hour of radio today, Mike
You thought the Dallas Cowboys, laughing at the Dallas Cowboys was bad and worrying about their kicker was bad?
Yes, I think that worrying. I hated the kicker narrative. I hated watching that unfold. But that game was bad. All 4 of those games this weekend were not enjoyable. I didn't watch much of the Cowboys 49ers because I had other things to do.
Mike is right, though. I mean, headed into the weekend, you thought you had one of those classic NFL weekends, and it turned out to be a bust. It was not a great football weekend.
It was a Stugotz take of all Stugotz takes, Mike. I didn't watch the games, but they were horrible and not worth watching.
Yep,
I watched 3.5 out of 4 of them, and they were horrible. I didn't watch half of the Dallas 49ers game, and that when I came back and saw the score, I was like, oh, this game is also horrible. And then I was like, I heard the guy had a field goal blocked or an extra point blocked, and I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't see that because I don't like watching human misery unfold on national television.
I didn't think Niners-Cowboys was a bad game just because it was low scoring.
It was the second best game of the weekend.
No, but I thought it was a really well-played game, and just not all well-played games result in touchdowns.
This is a good segue to, I want to make an observation here about Meadowlark Media's football coverage. Lest you think that Billy Gill is the only one with a brilliant football take, I'd like to read a tweet from Chris Whittingham from a few days ago talking about the other kind of football, talking about his beloved Manchester City. Here's what he wrote. The City change in formation this season has made them toothless and not any less susceptible to quick-fire goals, just less likely to score 3 or 4. That was tweeted when City were down 2-0 to Tottenham. City then scored 3 goals in 12 minutes and won 4-2. In their next match, Erling Haaland scored 3 goals in 10 minutes, and they won 3-0. So there's a lot of excellent football analysis going on at Meadowlark Media from
Classic reverse jinx, Mike. Got the team going. They've been toothless for a month. It was awful. You know what? 4 goals second half against Spurs, right back in the title race.
You guys, you and Mike
Alfred's toothless.
You and Mike Ryan did a wonderful job covering the World Cup, and you got everything wrong, correct? Every single thing wrong. Stugotz does a wonderful job on God Bless Football. He is 1-9 against the spread in the playoffs.
I think it's 1-8.
1-3 over the weekend.
Tomato. You never point out my great regular season, though. I mean, but I always say do it in the playoffs, and I'm not doing it in the playoffs. I mean,
it's legitimately hard to go 1-9 over 10 games.
Yeah, I know it is. Yep. I've gone 0-16 before, so nothing's impossible.
Twice. 2 times.
I'll take my 1-9.
Let's do that. It's an improvement. Let's do stat of the day.
Start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day. It is the start of the day.
We're back to the poppy vocal only track in my ears for this. You know what's great is like it dips out completely, and then all I hear is like in the distance. At the end I hear him like,
Mike, why are you seizing on a setting on Zoom? We didn't flick the setting on this morning. Just get to the stat.
oh, someone's a little touchy because I pointed out how bad his Manchester City analysis was. Interesting.
Like, do you want me to explain again and have Dan send me to the penalty box again because we forgot to flick original sound on this morning?
Whittingham, go to the penalty box, Whittingham.
Oh, wow.
For the way you're talking to Mike Schur, for the just the general tone of everything you're doing.
When I do it and he yells at me, I mean, you get mad at me. You don't get mad at Whittingham. What are you doing?
You go to the penalty box as well. I want to talk to Mike Schur for a
second. Wait, don't
here.
send him yet. It's a Knicks stat. I want him to be here for the Knicks stat.
Wait a minute. That's not how the penalty box works.
No.
I'm making a request before. Then you can send him after. It's a delayed penalty.
I want
the ref's hand is in the air, but play continues.
The other team hasn't touched the puck yet.
Free play.
Yeah.
Here we go. Saw this on StatMused. Jalen Brunson is averaging 22.5 points a game through his first 40-plus games with the Knicks. But who, Stugotz, can you tell me, who was the first Knick point guard to average 20 or more over at least 40 games? Was it A, Walt Frazier, B, Stephon Marbury, C, Derrick Rose, or D, Dick Garmaker in 1961? What's your guess?
I'm going to go Dickie Garmaker. How about that?
The answer, of course, is none of the above. The Knicks have never in their 75 years had a point guard
Did
score
you
more
just
than
make
20
up
a game.
Dick
through his 40
Garmaker?
games.
You made up Dick Garmaker.
No,
That's
Dick
a real
Garmaker,
person.
15.6 a game in 1961. Nice little player.
Dickie
Dick
G.
Garmaker.
Yeah.
All right. Delayed penalty is over.
Okay.
Get out of
Someone
here.
touched the puck.
Are we going to open up baseball cards here? Because I thought for sure you'd at least enjoy laughing with us at the last play of the Cowboys season and the last play of Ezekiel Elliott's career.
I will happily laugh at
as a
that
Cowboy.
play.
As a Cowboy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll happily laugh at that play. It was exactly the play, essentially, that the Colts ran against the Patriots when there was that weird punt formation, and then they snapped the ball when they clearly weren't supposed to snap the ball, and two Patriots just grabbed the guy and threw him down. But what do you think was supposed to happen? Was he supposed to flare it out to the right or left so that all that phalanx of guards and tackles could move slowly downfield? Like, what was he supposed to do?
I think
that's the true genius of a terribly drawn up football play is when you watch it unfold and you can't even guess what the good version would have been.
I think the good version was hook and ladder back to ineligible Ezekiel Elliott, and he'd transform into who he was 7 years ago and have the speed to house it, I guess. But they didn't account for D'Amico Ryans taking a timeout and asking his team if they were seriously planning on doing this, and then just sending two guys at Ezekiel Elliott.
Do you think McCarthy thought he was unveiling? They'll never be ready for this. No linemen. I'm going to play positionless football, and at the end, I'm going to just throw the ball to Zeke, and I'm going to trick them with this 75-yard play.
I think that what it revealed is that his tactical side is 15 years behind everybody else's. Like what he thinks of as like a brilliant tactical plan is ancient by contemporary standards, and that it seems to be the problem with that guy. I don't know enough about football to say this definitively or even have this as a take, but I just don't think that he has a strategic tact. When you watch these coaches who, like the guy coaching the other team in that game, where when they show a replay, you see like 11 guys doing something really specific and like maneuvering around and picking up blocks and just running roughshod over another team. You're like, well, that's a tactician. And I think McCarthy, it's crazy that he's still coaching one of the premier franchises in the NFL. He's got nothing, that guy. He's had nothing for a long time.
McCarthy,
the Packers would have won so much more if they had had a better coach while Aaron Rodgers was in his prime.
McCarthy's quote afterwards was hilarious. Quote, "It didn't get going, but that obviously wasn't the plan."
It's not just that play, though. Mike is so right about this. McCarthy, you realize they fooled Jerry Jones in the interview by pretending that he had read up on analytics in the offseason? He admitted to that. Like, he nailed the interview by saying, yeah, Jerry, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Jones isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, and I don't think it's too hard to, like, pull the wool over that guy's eyes. And I think McCarthy's, like, a big, thick, football-looking guy. And I think Jerry Jones was like, "This is my guy right here." And because imagine if Brandon Staley walked into an interview with Jerry Jones, there's no way Jerry Jones is giving that job to Brandon Staley, or McCarthy, or Mike. What's his name? The Dolphins, your little Dolphins coach there.
McDaniel.
There's no way that Jerry Jones is turning his team over to like a. There's no way that Jerry Jones is turning his team over to a dorky guy in glasses. It's not going to happen. Every Cowboys coach is going to end up looking like the current Cowboys coach.
So wait a minute. So you think, and this might be right, because we were talking before about how Jason Garrett looks more like a fighter pilot than Mike McCarthy does, but you're saying that Jerry Jones is basically hiring these people just on how they look.
Yes.
That you're
Yes.
you're saying that this is the coach of the Cowboys because he's thick.
Yeah. Why do you think Jeff Saturday is the coach of the Colts? Like, there are certain guys.
That's a hairy
There are
torso.
certain owners. There are owners who are only going to hire guys who essentially are the human equivalent of a football. Just like a big, thick, leathery, kind of like strong-looking guy. And it doesn't matter whether they know what they're doing or not. They're just never going to turn their team over to Brandon Staley.
If Chris Whittingham tweeted this, you would eviscerate him for it. I'm just saying.
Why?
Jason Garrett didn't look like that.
I agree. It just there's a massive plot hole, and it's that Jason Garrett's a pretty trim guy.
Jason Garrett was the offensive coordinator at a time when he thought, oh, this guy's a genius. And then he not only stuck with him, he not only hired him, but he stuck with him for a really long time without actually analyzing whether or not he was doing a good job. My point is he's not smart. He's going to hire guys and stick with guys for reasons other than whether they are good coaches.
I think it's more of who people won't stand up to him. Like, he's not going to, anybody like Jason Garrett will just do whatever he wants. Mike McCarthy. It's more about you have to be able to be walked over to be a coach for the Cowboys.
That's also true. That's a good point. I mean, it's possible that the next coach, if he fires McCarthy, it's possible that the next coach is a Brandon Staley guy, because now he's looking around and going like, well, who else? What's everybody else doing? Maybe give me one of those nerdy guys. Give me one of those little nerdy guys in glasses. Like, he could totally go the other way with this. I'm just saying that's how McCarthy got that job.
Billy,
he looks like a football.
What is going on back there?
As soon as Mike Schur said to Chris, that's actually a good point. He like audibly said, "Wow," and he like moved away from the microphone. He goes, "I was not expecting that."
Can I go home now? I'm adding it to my Twitter bio.
Yeah, I'm putting it on my Twitter.
That was
bio.
actually a good point, though. He's saying he was surprised. He
was a taken aback.
He underestimates you so thoroughly at every turn that there was an actually in there, because I think that's an insult.
I'll take it as a positive.
Yeah, attaboy.